Have you ever looked at your palm and noticed something unusual? A mysterious crescent moon, or a bold letter M quietly etched into the lines of your hand. Most people would brush it off as nothing, but you didn't. Something in you paused. Something in you felt it meant more. And that instinct wasn't wrong. These marks are not random. They are symbols, gateways, quiet invitations from the deeper parts of your psyche. If you carry them, you are being called, not by superstition, not by fate, but by your own unconscious mind. A call to awaken, to look inward, and to begin the most important journey of your life, the journey back to your true self. In this message, we're not talking about palmistry as entertainment. We're talking about you. About the hidden layers of your mind, your soul, and your potential. If you have the crescent moon or the M on your hand, don't ignore it. It's time to act. It's time to listen. It's time to go inward and uncover what life has been waiting for you to remember. There are signs we carry with us, marks etched not just in our memories, but on our very flesh. The palm, with its creases and curves, is not merely skin and sinew. It is a silent map, a record of the inner world. And sometimes, in rare cases, a crescent moon or an M appears there, almost hidden, almost forgotten. To the ordinary eye, it is a coincidence. But for the one who sees, it is a call. If you carry such a symbol, you are not here to live blindly. You are not here to drift with the tides of the world, reacting, retreating, forgetting. You have been marked perhaps by destiny, perhaps by your own unconscious, because you are meant to awaken. Not to follow, but to confront. Not to conform, but to transform. There are signs we carry with us, marks etched not just in our memories, but on our very flesh. The palm, with its creases and curves, is not merely skin and sinew. It is a silent map, a record of the inner world. And sometimes, in rare cases, a crescent moon or an M appears there, almost hidden, almost forgotten. To the ordinary eye, it is a coincidence, but for the one who sees, it is a call. If you carry such a symbol, you are not here to live blindly. You are not here to drift with the tides of the world, reacting, retreating, creating. You have been marked perhaps by destiny, perhaps by your own unconscious, because you are meant to awaken. Not to follow, but to confront. Not to conform, but to transform. This is not a game. This is not entertainment. This is the sacred responsibility of becoming who you truly are. Begin by asking yourself what you are avoiding. What truth makes you uncomfortable? What inner voice have you buried beneath layers of performance and pretense? That is where your journey starts, not in imitation, but in confrontation. The world does not need more people trying to fit in. It needs more people brave enough to stand alone and still remain whole. If you are marked, you must act. Turn toward the unconscious. Turn toward the shadow. Turn toward your deepest truth. Only then will the symbol reveal its meaning, not as something magical, but as something undeniably real, the awakening of your soul. There are moments in life when something seemingly small captures your attention and stirs something deep within you. A pattern, a mark, a dream, or even a passing feeling can unlock doors that have been closed for a long time. The symbol of a crescent moon, or the letter M on the palm of your hand, is one of those rare phenomena. On the surface it may appear insignificant, just a quirk of skin and folds, random lines that formed without meaning. But beneath that superficial glance lies something ancient, something timeless, and something undeniably personal. These marks have existed across cultures and centuries, and they often carry a deeper resonance for those who notice them. Not because they are magical in themselves, but because they point inward towards something hidden in you that is waiting to be recognized. To bear this symbol is not to be lucky or special in the way society often defines it. It's not a sign of superiority, but of sensitivity. Sensitivity to the invisible forces within the psyche. You see, most people go through life unaware of the forces that move them. They live reactively. They follow paths already carved out by others, unaware that they are being pulled by the strings of their unconscious fears, desires, and unresolved conflicts. But you are being asked, perhaps by fate, perhaps by your own inner voice, to see deeper. This mark is not merely a curiosity. It is a signpost, a subtle whisper that you were not born to sleepwalk through life. It suggests that you possess the capacity for inner awareness, that you have been chosen not by some external hand, but by your own deeper self to wake up. And what does that mean, to wake up? It means that you can no longer afford to live in ignorance of who you really are. You must become a student of your own soul, an explorer of the labyrinth that lies beneath the surface of your daily life. The crescent moon has always been a symbol of the hidden, the mysterious, the intuitive. It is associated with the night, with cycles, with things that grow in darkness. Just as the moon reflects the light of the sun, your conscious mind reflects only a fraction of the total light available to you. Most of your energy, your fears, your wisdom, and your desires lie in the shadow, the part of you that you have not yet fully understood. The moon on your palm calls you into that shadow. It says, "Look here." Not outward, but inward. What you seek in the world is waiting inside you. The M often stands for mastery, but not the kind of mastery that comes from controlling others or accumulating wealth. It is the mastery of self. The mastery of one's emotions, thoughts, compulsions, and wounds. It is the ability to sit with your discomfort and not run from it. To acknowledge your past without letting it dictate your future. It is the courage to confront your pain and not be consumed by it. This kind of mastery is rare. It does not announce itself. It does not parade. It is quiet, steady, and resilient. And it changes everything. Having this symbol on your palm may feel random, but in the language of the unconscious, nothing is random. There is order beneath the surface, a deeper intelligence at work. These signs are not there to entertain you, they are there to remind you. To remind you of something you've forgotten, something you once knew before the world told you who to be. These marks are a signal from your inner world, asking you to stop chasing shadows and begin the real work of remembering. But remembering is not passive. It is not simply a matter of nostalgia or vague longing. Remembering in this context is an act of inner discipline. It is the process of reclaiming all the parts of you that you abandoned in order to be accepted. Every time you silenced your truth to avoid conflict, every time you denied your sensitivity to appear strong, every time you chose safety over authenticity, a piece of you was buried. And these buried parts do not die, they wait. They wait in your dreams, in your fears, in your symptoms, and yes, sometimes even in the lines of your hand. When you notice the crescent or the M, you are being asked to dig, not into books or opinions, but into yourself. To question what you've accepted as normal, to investigate the roles you've been playing. Who are you beneath the identity you show to the world? What lives behind your performance? What do you know in your bones that you've been afraid to speak? This is not an easy path. It requires honesty, solitude, and the willingness to be uncomfortable. But it is also the most rewarding path you can walk. Because on this path you will begin to understand your patterns. You will see how your childhood wounds have shaped your choices. You will begin to catch yourself when you're about to repeat the same cycle again. And in that awareness, something powerful happens. You become free. Freedom is not found in escaping pain. It is found in facing it, in integrating it, in allowing the full spectrum of your humanity to live within you without shame. That's what this symbol calls you to do. Not to be perfect, but to be whole. To become so intimate with your own darkness that it no longer controls you. To become so rooted in your own truth that no external opinion can shake you. That is the deeper meaning of the mark. Some people will never understand this. They will laugh it off. They will call it superstition or coincidence. That is fine. Let them be. They are not ready. But if you feel something stir inside you when you look at your hand, if you sense that this symbol is more than an accident, then listen to that voice. Trust it. It has something to show you. Because the truth is, the outer world reflects the inner world. And until you have made peace with your own unconscious, your life will be filled with projection, conflict, and conflict. You will see enemies where there are mirrors. You will chase dreams that do not belong to you. You will run from fears that were never yours to begin with. But once you begin the journey inward, everything changes. You start to reclaim your own authority. You begin to trust your instincts. You begin to create a life that is aligned with your essence, not your ego. And in that alignment, there is power. Not the loud, aggressive power of domination, but the deep, calm power of presence. The kind of presence that can walk into chaos and remain centered. The kind of presence that listens more than it speaks, but when it speaks, it cuts through illusion. This is the power of someone who has faced themselves and come out the other side. You have that power, not because of the mark, but because of what the mark points to. It points to your potential, your hidden strength, your soul's purpose. But potential means nothing if it is not acted upon. If you see the sign and do nothing, it fades into the background noise of life. But if you respond to it, if you treat it as a sacred message, then the real journey begins. You do not need to have all the answers. You do not need to know what the future holds. You only need to be willing to take the next step inward, to sit with yourself in silence, to write down your dreams, to notice your triggers, to ask questions that scare you. This is the work of awakening. It is not glamorous, but it is holy. The crescent moon, the M, the lines that curl like rivers across your palm, they are not there by mistake. They are not decorations. They are clues. They are invitations. And like all sacred symbols, their meaning is not given, it is revealed. Slowly, quietly, through your own effort, your own courage, your own willingness to see what others ignore. If you've been searching for a sign, this is it. Not the mark on your hand, but the part of you that noticed it. The part of you that asked what it meant. That part of you is awake. That part of you is ready. It's time to stop waiting. It's time to listen. It's time to go inward. The symbol has done its job. Now it's your turn. True transformation does not begin in the light. It begins in the dark, in the places we least want to go. It begins not with achievement, not with performance, but with an honest look at the self. The invitation to turn inward is the most difficult and the most powerful call you will ever receive. It is not loud. It does not arrive with applause or approval. It often comes through discomfort, through anxiety, sadness, confusion, or a growing sense that something in your life no longer fits. That is the whisper of the unconscious calling you home to yourself. Most people live their entire lives running from that whisper. They drown it in distraction, in noise, in busyness, in addiction, in overachievement. They construct elaborate identities, surround themselves with expectations, and cling to familiar patterns, no matter how destructive, just to avoid facing the unknown within. But for those who feel that faint pull inward, for those who sense that there's something more beyond the surface, there is another path. A path that does not promise ease, but promises truth. And truth is the foundation of all real transformation. To turn inward means to face your inner world. It means to stop projecting your pain onto others and instead ask, what is this pain really trying to tell me? It means to stop chasing the next goal, the next relationship, the next high, and instead ask, what part of me is still unresolved? It is the radical act of choosing to feel what you've spent a lifetime avoiding. This is not comfortable work. It's not the kind of work that earns praise or instant gratification. But it is sacred. It is necessary. And it is the only way to truly evolve. The unconscious is vast. It holds everything you've forgotten, everything you've denied, everything you've repressed. Your fears, your traumas, your unspoken dreams, all of it lives there. And it has been shaping your life from behind the scenes. Every reaction that seems irrational, every pattern you keep repeating, every time you sabotage your own progress, it all has roots in the unconscious. And until you bring it into the light, it will continue to control you. This is the paradox. What you do not make conscious will rule your life, and you will call it fate. Turning inward is the process of making the unconscious conscious. It begins with awareness. You start to notice the voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough. You start to recognize the ways you distract yourself when you feel uncomfortable. You start to observe the stories you tell about yourself, about others, about the world. And slowly you begin to question them. You begin to peel back the layers one by one and see what lies beneath. This work is not linear. It is cyclical like the moon. You will return to the same moons again and again, each time at a deeper level. You will think you've healed something, only for it to rise again months or years later. That does not mean you're failing. It means you're evolving. The psyche is not a machine to be fixed. It is a living system to be understood, nurtured, and integrated. And integration takes time. It takes patience. It takes humility. There will be times when the darkness feels overwhelming, when you feel lost, confused, or broken, when everything you thought you knew begins to unravel. These moments are not signs of regression, they are signs of deep work. When the old self dies, there is always a period of disorientation. The ego resists change. It clings to the familiar, even if the familiar is painful. But if you stay present, if you hold yourself through the discomfort instead of escaping it, something new will begin to emerge. Something more real, more honest, more alive. Transformation is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming who you already are beneath the masks, the conditioning, the defenses. It is about remembering your original self, the self that existed before the world told you who to be. This self is not a fantasy. It is not an ideal. It is raw. It is complex. It contains your light and your shadow, your joy and your grief, your strength and your tenderness. To become whole is to stop splitting these parts of you into good and bad, right and wrong. It is to hold them all with compassion and say, this too is me. One of the most powerful tools in this inner work is self-observation. To simply watch yourself without judgment. To notice when you feel triggered and ask, what am I believing right now? To sit with your emotions instead of reacting to them. To trace your patterns back to their origin. Perhaps the fear of abandonment didn't start with your partner, it started in childhood, when a parent was emotionally unavailable. Perhaps your drive to succeed isn't just ambition, it's an attempt to prove your worth because you were never validated as a child. These insights don't come all at once. They come gradually, in layers, through presence and patience. As you uncover these hidden roots, you begin to take your power back. You realize that you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your past. You are the awareness behind all of it. And from that awareness, you can begin to make new choices. Not out of fear or compulsion, but out of clarity and alignment. You begin to respond instead of react. You begin to act from intention rather than habit. This is the essence of transformation, conscious choice. Another key part of turning inward is shadow work. The shadow is made up of all the parts of yourself you